Hey YouTube, Matty with Motherboards.org, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at two products from Fractal Designs. Now, if you may remember, Fractal Designs made that really nice HTPC case, the Node 605, that we reviewed a few months back. And today we're going to take a look at one of their mid-tower cases. This is the Fractal Designs Define R4. And we also have another accessory product to it. This is the Fractal Design Adjust 108 fan controller. As you can see on the front of the case here, it's got kind of like a brushed aluminum finish. It's real nice. It's kind of like a dark platinum titanium kind of look. It's got a door on the front, so there's nothing there. Anything you want to hit, you just have to open up the door here. And the inside has two 5 1/4 bays, and it has this kind of push button, snap down hinge where this door drops, and you can get here to clean off the dust filters and, you know, check fans and that kind of thing. Now here we're taking a look at the back of the case, and as you see, there's 4 thumb screws on the back that you take off in order to get into it. PSU mounts in the bottom. And I'll highlight something about these doors. These doors are definitely heavier than you'd probably expect because they got a really good thick steel that's on them. And there's like a layer of insulation material. You can see that or not, but right on the door there, and that's on both sides too. From this side, that comes off, and then you get easy access to pull wires and mount big cutout here for a big heat sink. Put on the back plane, and on this side, they give you a section here where you can mount a side fan, but it doesn't come with it. So instead, in order to keep that insulation barrier, they kind of put this insulation piece right here. All right, now right here we're taking a look at the inside of the case, and it's all finished on the inside with a nice black paint. And as I mentioned with the doors, this isn't necessarily a cheap case. It was a little lighter than I was expecting, but it's certainly not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. It's got a good thick steel. It doesn't bend or flex anywhere nearly as easily as lots of other cases that we've used. Another thing that I'll point out is inside this case, every edge in here is rounded off. Like they didn't miss anything in this case. So if you look towards the bottom here, there's a few screws you'll see there that kind of pop up. But other than that, there isn't anything in here that's sharp that you would end up hurting yourself on. So also, every bay in here, every 3.5 bay, has a toolless design. And each one of these is pegged out for 3.5-inch drives. Or you'll also see that there's screw hole mounts. So you can mount 2.5-inch discs, like SSDs, directly to each one. So it's a dual purpose. Again, these are good, solid, not easy to bend, and they put the little rubber grommets on there to keep drives quiet. And they slide in and out real easy. No problems at all. At the bottom here, they give you 3 more drive trays, so you can stack a lot of drives in this thing. But if you got a real extra long video card, you can remove the bottom section as well as the middle section, and you can remove these independently. So the middle section is real easy to take out. You just pull these two, and that's most likely where a long one is. But if you're running like a tri-SLI setup, it's got room for the PSU here. You can mount a water cooler up here at the top, as well as a fan. They give you plenty, I would say not as much as I've seen, but they give you a pretty good amount of space for routing wires. So they give you cutouts here. I've seen cases with a few more extra along the bottom, but this is pretty good. The box there's included in the box is a whole bunch of parts. So we'll open up the parts box here in just a minute. I'm not going to go through everything that it comes with because it's a lot of stuff you'd expect. Motherboard standoffs, SSD screws, motherboard screws, hard drive screws, spacers, all that kind of stuff. But one thing that I will point out that they do that is worth noting, because again, it's just that whole attention to detail thing. Is that they put everything in its own little individual baggie rather than dump all the parts into one bag. So every screw has its own bag. It's very, very nice. So thank you, Fractal, for doing that. So we'll take a look at the front controls. These are the front controls here. So they top mount the power button, 2 USB 3 ports with a USB 3 header, so it's not a pass-through, 2 USB 2.0 ports, power, LED, and then you got the reset switch, mic, and headphones. You know, your normal assortment of connectors that you'd see on the front. There's no, you know, 3.5 SATA hot swap A or anything in this. It's just your basic connectors. And behind the door here, you also see there's another big layer of foam insulation. We'll have some test numbers up on the sound dampening abilities of this case in the full review on the site. On the front here is where you have access to your 2 5.25 drives, and these pop off real easy. You just pull a little tab there and it comes right off. Also on the front here, they do give you one integrated fan switch. I'll zoom in on it here. That has settings for 5, 7, and 12 volts. So even without an external fan controller, you will be able to adjust the speed of either the front or the rear fan right on the front of the case. So you don't have to open up the case and hit a switch inside the fan. Hit a switch like on the fan cord itself. You can just move this up and down, and it's got 3 speeds there for you to use. So as you can see, it's a very nice case, and Fractal took a lot of work to pay attention to the details. It doesn't have all necessarily the craziest features in the world, and there aren't any locking, you know, quick locking mechanisms for like the PCI slots on the back, but the quality is certainly here, particularly in how it's made. Now this is also a great accessory for the Define R4. As you notice, there is one switch on the front where you can adjust the speed of one of the fans. But if you get something like this, you have precise speed control for up to 6 different fans. And each one, this is a 36 watt per channel controller. So it's got plenty of strength to drive, you know, large size fans, all you need. And there's also these really nifty LEDs that change color depending on how fast the fan is going. And we'll show you that here in just a second. So just to show you what it looks like inside of it. So hopefully, as you can see here, it makes a real nice complement. Now the inside of the R4 is plastic, but Fractal has some other cases that have this kind of brushed black metal look, and it'll match up really nice with those cases. Now here it's a little nicer than the inside of this, but it's still, they did a really good job trying to match this black color as much as possible, so it doesn't look completely out of place, and it really looks like it belongs. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook it up, and we're going to play with some fans. To save a little time, I'm not going to remount a motherboard and put it in here, but what I am going to use is the power brick from my SATA to USB adapter, which is a really, really handy tool to have for this kind of stuff. And this plugs in with a 4-pin Molex, so I'm going to plug the Molex in here. And I'm going to go ahead and use the front fan that's on this, but I'll get a couple other fans as well. Don't go anywhere. So we got the front fan in this case set up. So that way you'll be able to see that there, and then I've got a second fan that I'm going to plug in down here. Put that on controller 6. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and kick it on. All right, as you'll note, fan here is going full speed. So as you can see here, the LED has two positions, and while the LED is either white or blue, these sliders are actually variable. So you can just fine tweak the speed of the fan here, and as I just start to push that down, you should start to hear that get a little bit slower, a little bit slower, a little bit slower. So this gives you a lot of ability to fine-tune your system for either maximum cooling or being, you know, as quiet as possible. And on this low speed, they definitely get pretty quiet. And then crank each one up, and you know, this is a cheap 80mm fan, so that makes a lot of noise. But the ones that are included in this are virtually silent. I mean, they are really, really nice. Now the LEDs on here they have 3 different positions for the brightness. So if you really don't like them, see if I can get in here so you can see. There's a jumper in here that you can either do 50% brightness, which is what it comes at stock. You can turn it off if you switch the jumper position. And if you remove the jumper, supposedly it's 100% brightness, which is brighter. So I'm going to pop that off real quick. Set the camera down, sorry. Okay, so now I remove the jumpers. And it's supposed to be brighter. Well, the white LED certainly is. The blue, kind of hard to tell the difference. Might be a little brighter. But man, that white one's definitely on the bright side. So it'd look real attractive with all 6 of those lit up. That'd be really nice. All right, well, I really appreciate you joining us and touring the Fractal Design R4 with us. If you want to learn more about it, see more pictures, and get our full impression, click through the link in the video description to Motherboards.org and give it a look. All right, a few more things before we wrap up here. First, we got a new game review up on the site. George took a look at the new Bioshock game, Bioshock Infinite. I'm a huge fan of the Bioshock series personally, and I'm kind of jealous that George got to review it, not me, but that's okay. Go check it out. If you haven't seen anything about this game yet, it just looks incredible. So it's a fairly spoiler-free review, too. I'll just point that out. So there's a link to that in the video description, Bioshock Infinite review. We were polling on whether or not you wanted some user questions answered in videos. And we've got a pretty good response. I've had a couple people send me messages through YouTube. I've had a few people take the poll. Some people send in comments. And the general consensus is everybody loves to learn more about computers and to be able to have a place to ask questions. So, but everyone is a little mixed on how they would like it to be done. Some people want video only. Some people rather have blog posts. Some people want just one video like dedicated to it, and some people want questions mixed in with the regular videos that we do. So for the first one, we're going to try a few different things out and just kind of see what you guys like. So I'd like to invite you all to ask a question to us. You can either post your question somewhere where we can see it. I'd prefer that you send us a message, like a PM through YouTube. Put in there, user question or something like that in the title, so I know it's for a video. Or you can go to our website, Motherboards.org, to the contact page, and there's a drop down. I'll put a user question in there as an option, so you can also send us a question in that way. And hopefully you guys like that. I got a lot to share with you guys, and hey, sometimes I may get stumped, and we'll get the experts from the industry in here to answer your questions. So finally, it wouldn't be a Motherboards.org video without a giveaway. We love to give stuff away. So we are giving away this Adjust 108 controller, fan controller, courtesy of Fractal Designs. Thank you, Fractal, for donating it to us. And one viewer here is going to take it home. So if you want to enter to win this, all you have to do, you can do one of two things. Okay? One, you can go to the link in the video description where it gives a link to an entry form, or anybody who submits a question for our user question video will also be entered to win. Make sure you use an email address that we can contact you back at. So, because if you win, we need to be able to contact you. And if you fill out the form, we know we're going to have your info. But if you don't fill out the form and you enter with the user question, that's fine. Just use an email address that we can get through to. All right. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today, and we'll be back soon with lots of other cool stuff.